I'm gonna put on a great performance, and I'm going in there to try to knock David Morrell out. Which if I get it or not, I don't know, but I'm definitely gonna beat David Morrell, but I'm gonna be in there trying to hurt him every single round.
You think he's gonna bang with you, or you think he's gonna try to move and beat?
David Benavidez is fired up and promises to completely dismantle David Morrell in their epic showdown. David says he wants to fight the best to leave a legacy. He doesn't want to avoid tough opponents. He wants people to remember him for fighting the top guys in the sport.
You know, with me, I want to fight the best fighters because I already know what happens when I get in the ring with a great fighter. The best out of me comes out. You know what I mean? And this is what I want. This is what we're here for. We want to give the tough fights. I don't want no easy fights. I want to go in there and leave it all out in the ring, and people say, wow, David is an amazing fighter. He doesn't shy away from nobody. He really lets it all out for everybody to see. And I've always been like that.
David talks about the open workout incident with Morrell, where Morrell threw a belt at him after he tried to shake his hand. He feels it showed Morrell might be scared or looking for an excuse to back out. David also points out that throwing the belt could have caused injury and ruined the fight.
So when we were at the press conference, the first one, we're talking all this and that, and I'm talking tough to David Morrell, and then he comes up after the press conference is done, and then he shakes my hand, give me a hug.
After all of that?
No,
Press conference
the
first
first
time.
one, the
Got
LA.
Got you.
So then when we go to the press conference over there, you know, it was my birthday actually, so I'm already in a good mood. I'm walking in, and as you can see, I went to go shake his hand.
He wasn't done.
But all my people were there. There's a gym I train at.
Yeah.
And then he didn't shake my hand, mate, and I held it out there like, bro, shake my hand, shake my hand. And he didn't shake my hand, that got me heated. So I'm like, oh, we're gonna fight anyway. I might as well push him and see what's up. I'm gonna test his temperature. Pushed him, but this is how I know he's scared of me, because he threw the belt at me. If I throw my belt at you, I'm trying to hit you in the head.
David thinks Morrell is acting tough for the cameras, but doesn't believe it's genuine. He says the back and forth at press conferences helps build hype for the fight and makes it more interesting for fans, comparing it to the drama in his brother's fight with Crawford.
It might have been over. We may not be having a fight. Tell me about that open workout and just that whole scene.
So David Morrell, he just tries to act super tough for the camera.
You don't think that's real? You don't think that's
No, I thought it was real. I thought he was real, but that's what I'm saying, what led up to that. So when we were at the press conference, the first one, we're talking all this and that. We had a good press conference, had a good back and forth. And the good thing about this is I know this is gonna sell a lot because none of this is fake. The fights that are not fake are the ones that sell a lot. Like Crawford and my brother. You don't remember when my brother pushed Crawford and Crawford freaking swung at him.
David talks about how he's been tested extensively by VADA, starting months before his fight with Caleb Plant. He mentions that Morrell's team was slow to begin testing, and he's concerned about Morrell's history with VADA testing, noting other fighters have raised similar issues.
You know what I mean? And I really want to talk about this, but now we're talking about this. When I fought Caleb Plant, so when I signed for this fight, I already knew months in advance. I knew like 4 or 5 months ago. When I fought Caleb Plant, we started testing like 14 weeks out. Demetrius started testing 12 weeks out. Bosick started testing 11 weeks out.
Before the fight?
Before the fight. So, so it was like 11 weeks to the fight. So like 3 months, 4 months. I had, with David Morrell, the only reason I bring stuff up is because people say stuff. Other fighters that said that they had to test VADA and that David Morrell didn't test VADA, and then after the fights, they weren't testing for drug tests.
David explains how Morrell's team kept delaying the start of VADA testing. He became frustrated and had to push for the testing to begin, emphasizing the importance of starting testing early for a clean fight.
David Morrell, I've sent all my stuff. I'm like, I'm ready to go, let's test. I'm like, oh, we're just waiting, we're this, you know what I mean? And then by the time it got to week 9, and I'm not lying about anything, I have screenshots of everything. If they're not gonna test, I'm gonna cancel the fight. I don't give a about none of this. Like, the VADA's here for a reason. Why are they not testing?
Try that.
So then I told them, if they're not here by tomorrow, we're gonna cancel the fight. They got there the next day. But that's what I'm saying, it shouldn't even been like that. Why am I calling VADA? Why am I telling them, like, when are we gonna start testing? This is a big...
David shares that he has proof, screenshots, of the delays in testing from Morrell's team. He made it clear that if the testing didn't start on time, he was ready to cancel the fight, as he wasn't going to compete without proper drug testing.
Because people say stuff. Other fighters that said that they had to test VADA and that David Morrell didn't test VADA, and then after the fights, they weren't testing for drug tests. So I'm kind of looking at that like, okay, like I keep telling these guys about the drug test. They keep saying next week, next week, next week.
Who's saying that?
Their team.
Okay.
David Morrell, I've sent all my stuff. I'm like, I'm ready to go. Let's test. I'm like, oh, we're just waiting with this. You know what I mean?
David mentions that after he pushed for it, Vada started testing Morrell, and everything is fine now. He stresses that it shouldn't have taken so much effort to get the testing started, as it should be standard procedure for big fights.
You know what I mean? And then by the time it got to week 9, and I'm not lying about anything, I have screenshots of everything. If they're not gonna test, I'm gonna cancel the fight. I don't give a about none of this. Like, the VAD is here for a reason. Why are they not testing?
Straight up.
David talks about how Morrell accused his team of using steroids during the press conference. David feels this accusation was unfair, especially since his team had been proactive about VADA testing.
So then I told them, if they're not here by tomorrow, we're gonna cancel the fight. They got there the next day. But that's what I'm saying, it shouldn't even been like that. Why am I calling VADA? Why am I telling them like, when are we gonna start testing? This is a big fight. You know what I mean? I'm sure you would feel the same way, like, oh, we got 2 months and a half, like why haven't we tested yet?
Mandatory.
So, I mean, and then from also, I mean, you can look it up yourself. There's people talking about David Morrell, that he didn't test this and that.
David confirms that VADA testing is now happening properly for the fight. He stresses the importance of clean competition and how crucial it is for all fighters to undergo proper testing. He doesn't want anyone to cheat their way into a fight, emphasizing that his team has always been diligent about testing.
That my team is drug addicts, that we take steroids and all that stuff. So that's why I just let it go. I'm like, bro, if you're not gonna tell me that we're taking steroids when we've been on top of you guys trying to get the VADA testing. So that's the whole thing about that. But now the VADA's been doing the job. We've been testing good and everything's been good.
When did he start, you think?
We started
Did you get notified when the opponent tested?
Yeah, so it started 9 weeks. When it was week 9 until the fight. So from 9 weeks to the fight. So it would have been like 2 months and a half once we started testing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Radovoje Kalajic talks about the upcoming fight, saying if Morrell keeps his cool in the first 6 to 8 rounds, he's got a solid chance of winning. He suggests Morrell shouldn't get too aggressive and instead focus on choosing his shots and moving. Kalajic thinks it'll be a close fight, but believes Morrell can stick to his strategy and come out on top.
If he could stay composed and stay calm during the first 6 to 8 rounds, because Benavidez, all he has is pressure, and he eventually will slow down. So stay composed, stay calm, pick your shots, and move, box, because he can box and move. Don't be the aggressor. I think he can pull it off.
Kalajic also looks back at Benavidez' previous fights, pointing out that he's mostly fought smaller opponents. He feels Benavidez hasn't been properly tested by someone his own size until now. Kalajic isn't sure if Morrell can hurt Benavidez, but sees this as a big test for both of them. The result could show how Benavidez deals with punches from someone his size.
Well, David Benavidez, he's been fighting smaller guys his whole career. He's always the bigger guy. And then when he fought Grosdick wasn't even punching that hard. So I don't know. This will be the first test. We'll see how will Benavidez get hurt, or will he just walk Morrell down. This will be a big test for both of them. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't know how he reacts to punch with guys that are his size punching back. So we'll see.
Ahead of the fight, Benavidez and Morrell had a heated exchange, showing just how determined they are. Benavidez came across confident, saying he's ready to dominate, while Morrell made it clear he's not backing down. The tension is real, and both are ready for what's next.
I'm gonna retire that. I'm gonna stop saying all this. That's it. I'm gonna beat the shit out you.
This is actually
bullshit, bro. Bullshit. You know, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna beat the shit out you. You're never gonna come back to boxing.
You can do it, bro. You can do it.
Okay,
I'm ready, baby. I'm ready. I'm teaching you the really boxing. I'm teaching you. I'm teaching you. I'm teaching you,
I can't wait. I want you to say that right after the fight. Right after the fight, when I got you on the floor,
you can do it, man.
I want you to say what you say right now,
bro. You're not nothing.
Morrell's confident he'll win the fight on February 1st, whether it's by knockout or decision. He believes his skills and mindset will get him the win, showing how determined he is to prove himself.
Para obtener la victoria en esa pelea. I'm 100% convinced that I'm gonna win this fight. I don't care which way I win it, if I knock him out or if it's after the final bout with the judges. I know I have all the conditions and the skill needed to come out on top on February 1st.
In an interview with gloves off, Morrell questioned why people call Benavidez the monster and promised a big win. He confidently stated, "I don't know why people call him that. Boom, he's falling, 100%. I promise I'll knock him out." His words further demonstrate his belief that he can take Benavidez down. Benavidez had the last word, cutting through all the back and forth. He said the talk is over, and the next time they meet, it'll be in the ring. "You'll see me in your nightmares," Benavidez warned, making it clear he's fully focused and ready for the challenge.
Oh yeah, everything is done. All the talking is done. I'll see you soon. And I know you see me in your nightmares. So I'll see you soon.
Morrell, you want to say something back before you go?
Amor y paz.
Eddie Hearn acknowledges that Morrell was once highly rated, but admits that he didn't impress in his most recent fight.
I thought Morrell looked really poor last time out, but I do rate him very highly. Oh, listen, I'll take my hat off to Benavidez.
Hearn clarifies that Morrell is still a talented fighter, despite his last performance not being great. Hearn seems to be offering a balanced view of the fighter's skill set.
Because, we know that's a really good fight, but the general casual fan doesn't. So, it's a ballsy fight.
Hearn reflects on how Morrell's public image might have shifted following that fight, but stands by the notion that his talent is still there, and there's potential for him to perform better in the future.
And I think massive respect to him for taking it. It's a great fight. Great fight.
Who do you favor?
From what I saw last time, Benavidez. But leading up to, that was the first time I've seen Morrell in the flesh, and I really rated him going into that fight. He didn't impress me at all in that fight. But it could have been a bad performance, but he's a very good fighter.
Teddy Atlas talks about the upcoming fight between David Morrell and David Benavidez, pointing out that both are undefeated and have solid amateur backgrounds. Morrell from Cuba had a fast and impressive rise in the pro ranks, winning a world title in just a few fights, something that's pretty rare in boxing.
That have the future in front of them in their career, and they're taking a risk. They're both taking a big risk. That's what, for me, that's what makes this fight so special. Their talents, their undefeated records, what's at stake, right? All of that. But that they're taking a risk when a lot of the fighters wouldn't. They'd say, no, I'm going to wait for a bigger fight. I'm going to, not a bigger fight as far as danger, but a bigger fight as far as maybe a payday or, whatever it could be.
Atlas compares Morrell's quick success to legendary figures like Roman Gonzalez and Leon Spinks, who also achieved major victories early in their careers. These examples put Morrell in an elite group of boxers with remarkable potential.
Like only a few special fighters have, guys like Lomachenko, Rigon Dial, who else? There's been a few, but a handful of guys that could win a title in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fights, which he did. So, hey, don't forget, I know people don't give him enough respect, but he really should get it. I can't help but say it. I like people getting respect than they should. I really do. Leon Spinks, he beat Ali. After 9 fights, whatever it was, short period of fights.
Atlas says what makes this fight so exciting is the big risk both fighters are taking. Instead of going for easier, more lucrative fights, Morrell and Benavidez are stepping up to face each other in a high-stakes matchup. Their choice to take on such a tough challenge, even with uncertain rewards, is what makes this fight stand out.
So, it's two guys in there that have the future in front of them in their career, and they're taking a risk. They're both taking a big risk. That's what, for me, that's what makes this fight so special. Their talents, their undefeated records, what's at stake, right? All of that. But that they're taking a risk when a lot of the fighters wouldn't. They'd say, no, I'm going to wait for a bigger fight. I'm going to, not a bigger fight as far as danger, but a bigger fight as far as maybe a payday or, whatever it could be. But you got a guy like Morrell. Not all those kind of fighters at this stage of their career would go and take on a dangerous fight against a guy like Benavidez.
Atlas also praises Benavidez for not settling after missing out on a big fight with Canelo Alvarez. Instead of waiting for a safer opponent, Benavidez is stepping up to face Morrell, showing true courage and determination in the process.
You know, and Benavidez, give him all the credit in the world. Like, goodness, him and his father. Give them credit that, you know, they didn't get the Canelo fight. You know, they're right in line for the winner of Bivol and Benavidez. And what do? They just sit around and, you know, twiddle their thumbs, or sit around and fight a soft touch? No, they take this. So I'm chomping at the bit. I'm really curious for that fight. It's a great fight. Really am.
Jose Benavidez Jr. voiced his frustration after the heated press conference confrontation between David Benavidez and David Morrell in Miami, especially criticizing Morrell for throwing the belt. He felt it was disrespectful and wondered why Morrell couldn't control his anger more maturely. Benavidez Jr. said Morrell's actions went against the tough image he tries to project, calling it a sign of bad character. He was surprised by the move, pointing out that it would hurt Morrell's image, especially with such a big fight coming up.
There's been a lot of like bad blood with this build-up because of what's happened at the press conferences. Like, you as a bystander, what'd you make of what happened in Miami?
I wasn't there though, that's the thing.
Like Morrell threw the belt at him, David ducked.
I don't know why the belt. That's something you don't do. What if there would have been, you know, someone said he was a kid or something? You don't do that. And that's how you know he's not how he says he is. He walks around like he's from the hood, like he's gangster. He's like, none of that. Why you gonna throw a belt? Why not pass the belt down to the side and go handle it? If you're really mad, if you're really about that, you know? I mean, it is what it is.
Did that type of like response surprise you, like from him?
It just made me seem like he's a
Paulie Malignaggi highlighted that while Canelo Alvarez controls the financial side of boxing, the real top fight in the weight class is between David Benavidez and David Morrell. He believes both fighters have what it takes to beat Canelo and expressed frustration over the disconnect between financial power and true talent in the sport. Malignaggi criticized the boxing world for prioritizing big money matchups over the most competitive ones, stressing the need for better fights.
But the biggest problem is this: all the money is in Canelo Alvarez, but the best fight is probably Benavidez versus Morrell. You know what I mean? Like, the best fight in terms of the top, who are actually the top two guys in this weight class are probably Benavidez and Morrell. I think they both beat Canelo. You know, so it's funny because all the money's with Canelo, so everything revolves around Canelo, and this is why this sport is backward.
Tim Bradley thinks David Morrell still lacks the experience to compete at the highest level, saying he wasn't impressed with Morrell's recent performance. Bradley feels Benavidez has the edge, not just because of his pressure fighting style, but also his ability to box and move when needed. He believes Morrell will have a tough time with Benavidez's versatility, since the former champ can adapt his style and do a bit of everything in the ring, making him a tough challenge for Morrell.
I think Morrell still needs a little bit more seasoning, to be honest with you. I wasn't too fond of his last fight.
It's part of why
I really
was Benavidez. Yep.
Yeah, it wasn't too fond. Benavidez can do a little bit of everything. We only see him as being a pressure type of assassin type of guy, throwing quick combinations and really, just stepping on the gas and squashing guys. But he can move and box if he wants to as well.
Elijah Vines, however, is confident David Benavidez will dominate the fight, even though he respects both fighters' styles and personalities. Vines, who relates to Benavidez's boxer-puncher style, believes Benavidez's experience and skill will be too much for Morrell. While recognizing Morrell's talent, Vines is sure that Benavidez will stick to his game plan, using his strength and skills to control the fight and win.
I think Benavidez I always liked Benavidez. Always liked him. So I feel like
that's because you're a boxer puncher. You love boxer punches.
Absolutely, but I don't know. I can resonate with him. Like, I like his style. I like his personality. You know what I mean? I feel like that's going to be a good fight. But I feel like Benavidez is going to dominate. Dominate, yeah. Some people might call me crazy because I had this conversation, but I don't know. I see a lot of stuff. I see a lot of things that Benavidez is going to be able to execute with a fighter like that.
Vines doesn't think Benavidez will stop Morrell, but he expects Benavidez to win most of the rounds. While Morrell might have some success at times, Vines believes Benavidez's overall strength and skill will be too much to overcome. He predicts the fight will go the distance, with Benavidez securing a unanimous decision victory.
I don't think he's going to stop him. I think he's going to dominate. majority of the rounds. Not all the rounds, but I feel like he will dominate. But it's going to be by unanimous decision.
Caleb Plant also expressed his excitement for the fight, highlighting the significance of the matchup due to the different styles of both fighters. He described Benavidez as highly aggressive, praising his ability to land combinations well. On the other hand, Morrell is skilled, but tends to be more crafty and less aggressive in his approach. Plant acknowledged that both fighters bring something unique. He believes the matchup has a lot of potential and is looking forward to seeing how it unfolds.
You know, their styles are different. Southpaw, right-handed, you know, one puts their punches together very well. And so does David Morrell, but he's a little more crafty. He's a little more maybe passive in his approach. You know, I'll say that. And but that's a big fight, you know, that's one I'm excited for. So.
Demetrius Andrade talks about the Benavidez versus Morrell fight, calling it a 50-50 matchup. He mentions Morrell lacks the same experience as Benavidez. Andrade also points out Benavidez's long arms, making him tough to hit. He says Morrell's punches are wild, but could improve with time.
1 or 2 of his fights, I was like, okay, he's a big kid. He got some decent speed, but he's a little wild with his punches. You know, that comes with experience, of course, when he'll start tightening it up. Is he tight right now to be able, because David does have a good, his arms are long. Listen, his arms are long to me, you know what I'm saying? Morrell's bigger than me, so he might have long. But when you're throwing punches at him, his arms are so long, it's so tough to hit him, especially if you're coming off wide. You got to really pinpoint the shots with David. I don't know if Morrell has that in him.
Jesus Ramos says Morrell's talented with solid amateur experience, but needs more pro experience. He points out that Morrell showed frustration in his last fight and needs to face tougher opponents to improve at handling tough rounds.
But I just feel like he's lacking the experience, you know, that Benavidez already has. He fought Andrade, he fought Caleb Plant. Those are tough guys, man, and he beat them. And Morrell, you know, he's extremely talented. He's got a lot of amateur experience, but I still feel like, and I think he kind of showed it in that last fight where he needs that pro experience.
Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. Catch you in the next one.